Howling II. Howling II, Your Sister is a Werewolf is a 1985 American horror film directed by Philippe Mora and a direct sequel to the 1981 film The Howling. The film stars horror veteran Christopher Lee, Reb Brown, Annie McEnroe, and Sybil Danning, and centers on a group of people attempting to stop the werewolf queen Sturba and her group's plans for world domination. Although Gary Brandner, author of the Howling novels, co-wrote the screenplay, Howling II. Your Sister is a Werewolf is not closely related to his 1979 novel, The Howling II. Plot. The film opens with a mystical atmosphere, which hints at a rock or punk vibe. The scene shifts to a cemetery where a funeral is taking place. Ben White attends the funeral of his sister, journalist Karen White, the heroine of the previous film. After her burial in the chapel's mausoleum, Ben meets Jenny Templeton, one of Karen's colleagues, and Stefan Krosko, a mysterious intruder who tells him that Karen was a werewolf. Stefan approaches Ben and tells him that his sister isn't dead. Ben becomes enraged and tells him to leave. Jenny approaches and asks Ben what happened. Ben tells her, and Jenny runs to catch up with Stefan. He tells her he can prove Karen was a werewolf, so he invites them to his house to demonstrate it. At the cemetery, a sensual woman named Mariana can be seen following Stefan's trail, accompanied by an older man named Elder. Mariana and Elder go to a bar with live rock music after the funeral. It's worth mentioning that the whole movie has a very rock and roll feel. There, Mariana tricks some poor, inept people and leads them to an abandoned building. There were 3 men and a woman, poor unsuspecting souls who would meet a fatal end there. From the moment they arrived, they could see werewolves surrounding them. Mariana undresses and reveals her alluring body. She was truly fiery. Mariana begins to howl, and the hunt begins. The 4 fools are hunted down like defenseless rabbits, but not before their faces are seen and they hear screams of terror and despair. Stefan greets Ben and Jenny and shows them a video of Karen's transformation on camera at the television studio where she worked. Ben refuses to believe what he sees and says it's fake, but Jenny tells him she knows the people in the video and it's all real. Stefan tells them he'll have to go to the cemetery and stop Karen from coming back to life, since the silver bullets that killed her were removed during the autopsy. Ben becomes enraged again and tells him to stay away from his sister. At the cemetery, Stefan stands beside Karen's body and recites some prayers before plunging an object into her chest. Outside, Ben and Jenny arrive at the cemetery and are watched by beasts. They enter Karen's crypt and encounter Stefan, but werewolves are also inside. They defend themselves against the werewolves while Karen tries to return to life, but Stefan manages to stab her with an awl. They have a long fight with the werewolves, eventually leaving only Earl, who was with Mariana. When they immobilize him, Stefan takes the opportunity to ask about Sturba, the leader of the werewolves. In the end, Earl, despite not wanting to say anything, tells them in exchange for being killed. He says that Sturba is in the dark country, which is what they call Transylvania. Now convinced, Ben and Jenny decide to go with Stefan to Transylvania. Upon arriving in the Balkans, Ben and his companions are stopped by a group of people on the road. They say a woman has been hit by a car. Ben and Jenny rush over to help, while Stefan just watches. The woman lying on the ground then transforms and tries to attack Ben, but Stefan is alert and stabs the werewolf with an awl, killing her. They then say their goodbyes and agree to meet again in the village. Meanwhile, Mariana also arrives and they are met by some people at a train station. They are put into a van along with other people. The drivers comment that they might be hungry, but they didn't bring any snacks to offer them while they travel. On the way, they meet 2 tourists who ask for a ride, and as Mariana gets in, she smiles and shouts of joy can be heard. In the castle, a decrepit old woman, nearing the end of her life, is brought in. A young woman is then offered to the old woman, who performs a ritual and casts spells. She then absorbs what appears to be the girl's energy, rejuvenating the decrepit woman and transforming her into the sensual and sexy leader of the wolves. Ben and Jenny are staying at a hotel where everyone seems incredibly strange, wearing ironic smiles. Mariana arrives at Sturba's castle. In a chamber, Sturba is seen with a young wolf named Vlad. Vlad is caressing Sturba, making her feel desired, but Mariana arrives. Sturba stops Vlad and offers Mariana to Sturba so she can have a mate. Sturba says that Mariana is a strong and powerful female and will give her many strong wolves. So Vlad takes Mariana, and like two wild beasts, they consummate their relationship there, with Sturba watching as they are consumed by the heat and lust of their bodies. In the village, there is a festival, so Ben and Jenny wander through an ethnic folk festival, unaware that Sturba is in his nearby castle, already plotting his downfall. A dwarf named Vasile beckons them and leads them to a church where they meet Stefan again. Stefan introduces Ben and Jenny to several locals who have sworn to oppose Sturba because of the deaths of several members of their families, all killed by Sturba or his followers. Ben and Jenny are at the festival accompanied by the bellboy, who is sober and works for the hotel owner. Ben leaves and tells the bellboy to tell Jenny they'll meet at the hotel later, then departs. Ben meets Vasile and they go to Sturba Castle. Meanwhile, the bellboy tells Jenny that Ben has left but said they'll meet at the gypsy camp. Ben and Vasile venture into the castle, but not before using earplugs made of blessed wax. Sturba knows they're in the castle and begins reciting incantations, while Vasile tells Ben they have to flee because they've been discovered. They are pursued by werewolves, but Vasile falls to the ground and loses his earplugs. Sturba's spells take effect, and Vasile dies, but before he does, he tells Ben to go to Stefan. Meanwhile, the bellboy was leading Jenny into the woods, but Jenny told him she wouldn't go any further because the village was on the other side. The bellboy tried to take advantage of her, telling her she would have the privilege of being with a werewolf before he killed her. But Sturba arrived with another werewolf, and they killed the bellboy for being disobedient. In the village, Stefan sees a dwarf wearing a necklace he had previously given to Jenny. The dwarf runs away, but Stefan follows him, and they meet in an alley. Stefan asks him where he found the necklace, and the dwarf reveals himself, showing that he is Vasile. Ben arrives and kills Vasile, or rather, eliminates him, since Vasile was already dead and his body was being used by Sturba. During this, Jenny is captured and taken to Sturba's castle. Ben and Stefan, along with the villagers Constantine, Luca, and Father Florin, storm the castle, but are ambushed by Sturba's werewolves. A battle ensues, and they kill many werewolves, but there are too many. Constantine and Luca die in the battle, and Father Florin is wounded. Upon reaching the castle, the three split up to find Jenny and kill Sturba. Ben rescues Jenny, finding her tied up and being tortured. He kills Mariana and flees the castle while Stefan and Father Florin confront Sturba. The father finds Sturba, but she has her back turned, reciting incantations while holding a staff adorned with a hideous winged creature. As the father prepares to kill Sturba, she turns and drops the staff. The winged creature springs to life and kills the father. Stefan arrives, and Sturba tells him that she has finally found her brother. Sturba continues reciting incantations, and Stefan seems lost. He approaches Sturba, and she embraces him, signifying her succumbing to evil. But Stefan reacts and plunges a holy dagger into her, defeating Sturba. However, she is engulfed in flames, and the flames also consume Stefan, as they were still embracing. Some time later, Ben and Jenny return to the United States and live together. A trick-or-treat boy knocks on their door, and they find what appears to be a child dressed as a werewolf. After the boy enters the apartment next door, there's another knock, and they find a Romanian man who claims to be childless and living alone. Declining his invitation for a drink, Ben and Jenny return to their apartment. The film ends with a rock concert and scenes of Sturba repeatedly displaying her breasts. Comments. The screenplay was based on Howling II, The Return, a novel written in 1979 by Gary Brandner. The plot incorporates elements of Slavic and Romani cultures, and sets the story in the Balkan region of Transylvania. This story is the only one that follows the events of the original film, bringing back the character of Karen White as a narrative thread. Director Philippe Mora stated that one inspiration for Sturba, an ambiguous, 10,000-year-old werewolf queen, was the eroticism of the new wave style. The ceremonies presided over by Sturba in the castle are steeped in sadomasochism. The film's imagery also contains some gory elements, the amputated hand of one of the werewolf victims, the moment when a dwarf actor's eyes explode under Sturba's influence, and the scene in which Jenny, kidnapped and gagged in the castle, is shown completely covered in blood. The film didn't garner much attention, failing to achieve commercial success. Even so, it's one of my favorite werewolf movies. The sensuality portrayed in the film, along with its esoteric and witchcraft themes, fascinated me when I first saw it, and it still does, despite knowing and understanding that it's a low-budget, B-movie. That's all from me. Thank you for your attention. I hope you like it so I can focus on creating more content like this. Goodbye.